everyone, Leanne from Cake and Eat It 3, and I'm here today to share with you my first foray into dehydrating. Now, I just wanted to let you know that some of the footage I've had to keep really close around the object or subject because I was actually house sitting at the time. So I was borrowing their dehydrators. So with respect to house owners, obviously I asked them if I could film, but keep that in mind. Now, this was the first time I've ever dehydrated, so there's going to be plenty of people out there that have a lot more experience than me. But in my defense, I didn't kill anybody. We went on the Cape to Cape. We ate 7 nights. Everything went really well. The food tasted really yummy. Everything went absolutely perfectly to plan. So with that in mind, I now have done 25 meals for the Bibbulmun, and I will let you know if we survive that. But they're all done and ready to go. So I've got a blog post up on the blog, www.cakeandeatit3.com, and they actually outline the different recipes in a little bit more detail and the units that I used, the dehydrating units that I used to actually do the dehydrating. So please enjoy. If you've got a dehydrated meal that you absolutely love, feel free to share it below. Subscribe and follow our adventures as we have planning and prepping towards our next big adventure, 1,000 kilometers on the Bibbulmun Track. So I'm just dicing the onions, and I'm trying to dice them as small as possible because obviously they're going to dehydrate quicker and rehydrate more easier is my idea of why I'm doing it like that. So basically I'm going to do 1 onion a tray so that I know that I would normally put 1 onion into a recipe, and I'll know how much is on each tray. So that's 1 onion. I'll prep that, put that into the hydrator. I'm going to do a tray of garlic, a tray of onion, or a few trays of onion, because onion nearly goes in everything. Okay, so dehydrator 1 is a sunbeam round dehydrator, and here's a photo of the complete unit. Now, I've taken the trays, some of the trays out of it, and everybody recommends to do your meat and your fruit and veggies separately. So I'm just going to put the meat into this dehydrator, and I'll do all the onion and garlic and capsicum and whatever else in the other one. So I've put baking paper on the bottom of each layer, and then on each tray, so that will stop the meat from falling through the bottom of the tray. So you spread it out as best you can, no matter who you're listening to or watching videos on. They say the smaller the pieces, the better result that you're going to have. So you spread the meat out. Now this is 500 grams of mince and half a cup of breadcrumbs. Which is, as I said, homemade Wanderlust. Recommend doing it this way. So this particular one is 500 grams of mince, a half a cup of breadcrumb, and I've fried it all off here ready, and now I'm just going to place it on the trays ready to go in the dehydrator. So for our last 500 grams of mince, I'm trying a method that is recommended by Kevin Outdoors on YouTube, and he says to boil your mince. Now he says try and put it in and break it up as best as possible. He reckons this one's going to be more moist. So this is going to be really interesting, just out of interest, to find out which way works best in our climate in Australia, and yeah, for taste-wise as well. So I'm just breaking this up as best I can, and this is lean beef. So in all cases, all of these trays that you can see are lean beef. So the less fat, the better, and you won't, basically the fat won't be absorbed in and cause, or definitely more chance of it becoming rancid and then not being able to be eaten. So we're trying to reduce as much fat as we can. So I'll put that in there now. So I've got 1 tray of 500 gram beef, that's going to be for our chow mein. one tray of 500 gram beef with mustard, whole grain mustard. That's going to be for our spaghetti bolognese. And this one that I'm doing here, I have no idea which one I'm doing with this one. Maybe another spaghetti bolognese, a different method. So then I can actually properly see how they're going to come out. And I'll just break it up. So while this is cooking, I'm just going to actually just continue to break it up and make sure that it's as split up as possible in the actual pot. And then we're going to put it straight into a strainer and put boiling hot water on it. So I've already boiled the kettle ready. The idea being that we want to remove as much of that fat from the water and from the actual beef as we can. So I'm just going to continue to do this, and when it's done, strain it off with boiling hot water over the top of it. So this is the next morning with the smaller dehydrator. So we've got the mustard mince there. That was with the breadcrumb. This one was the one with the boiled meat. This one, actually this one's the mustard one, but still with breadcrumb. And this is the tuna. Now I have been extremely impressed with this Sunbeam dehydrator. Compact, worked way quicker than the other one is working. I mean, there's a lot more in the other one and a lot more moisture things with the veggies and that, but I'll get to that in a minute. But yeah, pretty great result there. And that would be after 6 hours initially. I think I put it on for another hour just to be 100% sure. And yeah, really happy with the result there. So, for better or for worse, on my first dehydrating experience, this is where we have all of the pasta sauce for the spaghetti bolognese. We have the onion and garlic all going. We have spinach being dehydrated. We have salsa and pasta. Actually, one of them had carrots that I missed. And so, there we go. We have got both dehydrators started. We'll see how long they take. We'll see whether my recipe ideas work. Hey, all good fun. All the taste testing. Let it begin. And in this one, we have the meat. So 3 sorts of mince and 1 tray of tuna. So we'll see how it goes. Okay, so this is the spaghetti sauce that I'm using to try and do for the spaghetti bolognese, and these 2 trays are 1 jar, because I've noticed in the big dehydrator, the one that I added red wine, like a little bit of red wine to, is doing much better than just the actual sauce. But this particular machine seemed to dehydrate much quicker than the larger machine. So I'm just going to give the Sunbeam dehydrator a go with the red wine and garlic Barilla sauce, and I'm just going to see how it goes in comparison to the larger machine and 1 jar per tray, and the addition of that little red wine in one of them, which has done very well. Okay, so this was round 2 of the spaghetti sauce, where I did 1 jar into 2 separate sheets in the Sunbeam dehydrator. Major success. 3.5 hours and totally dry, no damp, no squishy bits whatsoever, and as it should, just peels off, which I will do in a minute, and it will be put into my spaghetti bolognese pack. Winner, winner. This is the salsa. So pretty much this went really well. Didn't need to be left in there as long as it did, but it was in with lots of other things, so I just let it keep going just to make 100% sure it is going to lift off really well. and just be able to be broken up into pieces to put into the Spanish chicken and rice recipe that I want to do. So, yep, that worked. Tick. Hopefully it's yummy. Okay, so this is our tuna pasta. So I've put half a packet or 250 grams of elbows. I cooked that before dehydrating. I've got half a packet of the $3 baby spinach, so 60 grams of baby spinach, which I've dehydrated. And I've got 425 grams of John West, because that's the best you can get, John West tuna in spring water. That is very important, in spring water, which I have then dehydrated. All of this will be mixed at the end of the day, and Gouda cheese added to give it the cheesy tuna pasta. And we have this fresh regularly on the road as a quickie when we've done lots of miles travelling. Okay, so I have boiled the tuna pasta bake for, well, I didn't boil it for 15 minutes. From turning it on to now, which it was boiling when I stopped it, was 15 minutes. Remembering there's 3 meals in there, so that's not actually too bad at all. So now I'm going to leave that sit in there for a further 5 minutes, and then I'll add the cheese, stir it through. We will be taking Gouda with us on the trek because it handles higher temperatures a lot better.